to prevent problems getting stuck, the first thing is to monitor closely during testing. You should be watching what's going on during testing. So if you see kids, like one classroom, we saw a little girl who was counting on her fingers. And she was up to D, and she wasn't passing because she was trying to count on her fingers. And then the intervention was afterwards, I just met with her and said, listen, honey, tell me, what's 4 plus 1? And she says, 5. And I said, can you do that without counting on your fingers? How about 3 plus 1? Can you do that without counting on your fingers? And she goes, well, it's 4. I said, well, you don't have to count on your fingers anymore. She said, the reason you're not passing is because you're counting on your fingers. And you don't have to because you know the answer. Oh, she said. So she took the test again without counting on her fingers, and she passed. So you have to watch those. You'll see a lot of maladaptive behaviors. I've seen kids who, like some teachers will start everybody when if they have a second hand that everybody can see. When the second hand gets to 12, everybody's pencil's in the air. When it gets to 12, you can start. And I've seen kids who stop writing to look up at the clock and see how much time they have left. Well, you only have to do that once or twice, and you're not going to pass. You lose that. I've seen other kids who erase answers because they didn't like the 2 that they did. So they stop and erase the 2 and make it nice again, and then they don't pass. I've seen kids cross out things, or they do the wrong answer and then they erase it and put the right answer in. Just cross it out, put the right one, and keep going. So you got to watch out for those, and the only way you can see those is if you walk around during the test and look at kids' desks. By the way, it's really important to have your desks in a way that you can go stand by every student. So the arrangement that we have in here is not good classroom arrangement, because I can't easily get to Christine to stand next to her and look at her paper. And I don't know why, but I see a lot of classrooms with 3 rows, all kids pushed together. In the middle half of the class, you can't see their work. There's no way to get to it to see it. And so that's not good. You need to be able to go stand next to them while they're taking the test and see what they're doing, And you can see some kids are, hit certain problems and go like this. You say, whoa, well, okay, yeah, he needs to keep going because he doesn't have that memorized yet. You want to make sure that the goals based on writing speed aren't too low or too high. And know that as a double check, students who can orally answer 40 problems in a minute are at mastery. So you say you have a kid who's stuck and is gone 6 times and hasn't been able to pass. And you sit that kid down and you say, okay, tell me the answers to these. And you time them. And if they can do 40 in a minute, but they can't meet their goal of 27 problems, then there's something amiss with your writing goal for some reason. And so that's a good double check, because if they can spit out the answers at 40 a minute, they know them well enough. They can do 40 orally? Yes. Yeah. If they can do 40 orally and just saying the answers, they don't have to say the problem and the answer, just the answers, in 1 minute they should pass. And if they can do that, then you probably should readjust their writing goal, because whatever they've been stuck at 34, 34, 34. For some reason they have a goal of 38 and they don't seem to be able to get to 38. You test them orally, they can do 40 no problem. Then 34 is a good goal, because that's what they can do. Right, yeah, they know it well enough, but their handwriting is not what we thought it was. And sometimes, like I say, what will happen is a kid will, fudge on a test and write 3 or 4 problems after the bell, or ahead before you start if you're not watching, and then they suddenly have this higher goal and they can't meet it after that.